Hey, what's going on, guys? This is going to be a solo R8 uncut run on Tau. Get all my stuff turned on here. Alright, and we are going to be showing off what it looks like to play R8 without taking OP hero blessings. This is sort of an indication of probably what I would consider the most fun way to play R8 right now. We're going to see that I'm going to be put in a lot of positions where my decisions matter a lot more than they normally do in R8 because I'm not taking an Ascension that makes me incredibly powerful in the early game. By not being completely busted right at the start of the game, you're going to see that there are a lot more interesting decisions that I can make, that my build flexibility is going to significantly increase, my decision making is going to need to be on point, and I'm going to have to make really good decision making inside each room. I think that forms most of the crux of what makes Gunfire really fun to play. Beating R8 by abusing an OP Ascension is fun the first couple times, but then the game loses a lot of its soul. Before Reincarnation existed, there wasn't any of these blessings that you had at the start of the game, and for that reason Nightmare is an interesting challenge for players who haven't played on it in quite a while, because there are a lot of things that don't work the same. You'd be surprised at the level of difficulty between even Reincarnation 3 and Nightmare. So with that being said, I'm gonna hop into this game. This requires a lot of focus. This is very tough. That being said, I don't think that I'm incredibly good at this game. I think there's a lot that I could learn, especially in my FPS base skill is pretty weak. And so the fact that at any point in the highest difficulty of the game, I can trivialize it and breeze through it, makes me not makes me think that it's unbalanced and needs to be tweaked. But playing without the hero-specific blessings and limiting my options and intentionally not choosing anything that's just going to single-handedly win me the game makes the game a lot more fun. Another thing we're going to see is that I'm probably going to be given like probably an average of 3 or 4 like opportunities to like instantly win the game, or to put myself into like 4 notches above in power level. Often these will come in the form of just one scroll, one enhanced, one inscription on a weapon. These will not take any thought from me. They will just sort of be random elements that make me very powerful. And instead of these happening rarely, they will happen every game. So let's go ahead and get started. Nice. So I have one of the best spiritual remnants. Actually, these 3 are all very good for non-hero blessing. I'm not going to refresh. I'm just going to pick from these 3. Skill Freak has a lot of immediate impact. Copycat's probably the best overall, and Craftsman Inheritor has the best long-term capabilities. The biggest benefit of Craftsman Inheritor is I can get a Gemini going really, really quickly, which shouldn't be underestimated. That would let me go for like a Wild Hunt build with an early Gemini. I think I'm going to go Copycat. I think it's the most well-rounded, gives me the most benefit, and I am happy to take it. Laser Gloves, Fire Dragon with Rate of Fire is a perfect weapon to be getting in the early game. I'm going to make the case, and this is sort of a pet position of mine, that the type of weapon that you have is much more important in the early game than like what inscriptions are on it. This is one of the reasons that in my document I move a lot of common inscriptions into the rare category, so that those actually appear on weapons in the late game and you don't have quite so many just absolute trash weapons just littering the entire game after you get past like the desert. So early game, the type of weapon you have matters the most, and this Fire Dragon is a good type of weapon to have, and I think that will basically be kind of everything I need to get through this early game. Now granted, I do have a pretty good Rate of Fire inscription, which is ideal on Tau, but even if this didn't have a Rate of Fire increase, I think I would be in a really good spot. Copycat doing a lot of work. Copycat, one of the best inscriptions. I mean, blessings that is a non-hero blessing. So here we have a couple interesting options. Now think about this. All right, what would you pick if you had Sword Mastery? What would you pick if you had Blossom Enthusiast? What would you pick if you had Ice Blade? You would be already funneled into a path. There would be no option here. Realistically, you would just pick whatever synergizes with the OP blessing you've picked. Okay, think about that. Think about how much that affects your build flexibility. Think about how much that impacts your decision making. All right, because I haven't chose something overpowered, I get to look at these and actually calculate a decision of my own, as opposed to the game just telling me how to play. Okay, so Sword Shadow synergizes with the most things. It synergizes with Fatal Bloom because it shoots more swords. It synergizes with the sword's defense build because it makes Sword Guard better. Glowing Bloom is probably the most impactful immediately. It gives me a big damage boost right now. Luminous Heart is I think Luminous Heart is only best when you're using a non-standard weapon on Tau, where you end up wanting to spam the base stacks more so than the max stacks. And we have something that's shooting a lot and quickly, so we can stack up our swords out really quickly. It's a tough choice here. And remember, it wouldn't be if I already had an OP blessing. All right, and I may not get very far in this run, and that's okay. That's fun for me because I get to actually play the game and not just be told how to play. I really like Sword Shadow. And Glowing Bloom is a little bit tougher to use. So Sword Shadow, I think, is just a little bit more accessible, a little bit more flexible. So we'll go with that. Very important on Tau to look for those corrosions. I think one thing I could be doing better is using my swords out a little earlier. Ooh, against the flow. So this is another issue of the game, is that we're much more likely to get normal scrolls in the early game. And because something like this exists, which is like an incredibly legendary tier scroll, because this is in the normal category, this appears in almost every game. And so I'm specifically avoiding stuff that's going to be like incredibly powerful. This is a great pupil as well. I don't know how I almost missed that. Elemental. Okay, so it's a 20% shock chance. Okay. I think I already talked about how many. Okay, so yeah. So we've been given now 2 options for basically like instant wins. All right. The first option was being able to choose an OP hero blessing. All right. The second option was taking against the flow. So we've already been given basically 2 options that would make the game significantly easier. Way easier. Ooh, almost the right one. Keep in mind, on Tau, you start off rooms really slow, so you need to play more carefully in the early game, in the early part of each room. As you can see, the Sword Shadow doing a lot of damage there, just because I had the amount of swords it's summoning. I'm going to leave this for right now. I don't know what this next room's going to have, so I can come back for this when a bun falls down or something. I don't want to, because I actually am not like completely busted right now in the game, I don't want to choose to lower my HP unduly. That was a little risky. Oh, we got a speed boost. Love that. Nope, can't do that. It's not. Oh, run away. Nice. So we got a bun fell down. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, because now I know that I can use the bun to heal back up. And hopefully we get the trigger. We did not get the double gold trigger, alas. What can you do? Important to set yourself up for max stacks of swords out for the next room, so that you can enter the next room in the best possible position. Oh, my mouse is actually messing up. Look at that. It's like double tapping. Weird. I might need a new mouse. Okay. All right. So I'll think about that here for just a sec. We've got this over here. Is this a boss? No, it shouldn't be. These are going to be done by the time we fight him. Warlike Blade is probably the best here. Ammo Extractor is situationally OP if we're going to go for some kind of ammo abuse. And I'd say that Ammo Extractor is sort of a fair way of doing no reload abuse in the game. It feels like kind of tough to get going. It feels like you need a certain type of weapon to make it work. You know, you have to have like 3 or 4 things for Ammo Extractor to really be OP, but it is OP when it's good. Unlike Against the Flow and Advanced Depot. They require much less of you. Warlike Blade is impactful now. Luminous Heart's probably the least impactful. This is more of like, if I want to go for a specific build, I could force it by picking Ammo Extractor here, but Warlike Blade has the most impact now, so let's go ahead and take that. One thing to keep in mind about rooms like this is, like, see how you can't see downwind? So, like, when I'm playing, sometimes you'll see me move back into cover just when these things are shooting, because I can't tell what the enemies are doing nearly as easily, and if I can't tell what they're doing, I can't play around it. Just keep adjusting my stuff here so I can see the screen. Sorry about that. Elite Assassin. I'm happy to get this early enough to where it's useful. I don't think, you know, I don't expect it to be super impactful this game, but, you know, if it is, that's great. Alright, so now I really need to start focusing. Okay, we've got boss. And do I see a craftsman on the other side? I don't. Not too strong. Neither of these are. Corrosion, and you know, as long as I'm not applying decay, Corrosion Enthusiast is just a buff. Not bad. Stability increase on Angelic Aura is pretty meaningful. I think I'm doing okay with kind of where I'm at. I'm going to take this and then re-roll this. And okay, I think that's fine. I don't think we're going to use that, but it gives us like a higher range option, which is kind of nice. Sure. Nothing special. Nothing special. Nothing special. Alright, I'm pretty low on ammo. I'm going to just pop that up real quick. Keep in mind, Tao's glowing bloom here is amazing for this type of stuff. For the fiery and corrosion enemies, and for all these little enemies, and for popping these shields. Tao at base is in a very strong position on these rooms. I don't need an OP blessing to beat this room, and I especially don't need it like at the very start of the game. One of the tough things about this is that your Fatal Bloom doesn't get applied to enemies. When they have this shield going on. You see that? I'm holding down my mouse, but it's like sort of resetting itself. It's so weird. Don't like it. Alright, I need to be a little bit more careful here. Don't let myself get back into a corner, especially with those things. You can't jump over them, despite how it might look. Oof. Yeah, I die here, that's okay. But we do have this. Is it enough? Very close. I did not even break my whatever, the talent that keeps you from dying when you get sent to 1 HP. Alrighty. So Glowing Bloom's probably the most impactful right now. Epic Swordcraft tends to not be very good. The big problem with swords is they just don't scale very well if you don't have you know, a very specific setup, or you don't have Ice Blade. So pretty risky to go for something like that. Let me see. You know, it's tempting because we already have, Sword Shadow to keep going with that, but I think Glowing Bloom's just by far the most consistent way to do more damage. I think there's more synergies with it. I think we're going to be in a much better position going this direction. Alright. And let's get started. Okay, it's this guy. He's a chump. As long as you just don't play silly. Nice. Getting rid of that corrosion. Ain't got no time for that. This upgrade also helps us deal with these little dudes a lot easier. Ooh. I want to make sure I don't use all of my stuff. Watching the mini-map here. We should have him now. Nice. Oh. Glad he didn't have the best aim. This illusion is very good. Scalpel at base is extremely strong, especially with this hero. I think we're going to swap these two out. I want to keep the Flame Dragon because it has piercing, and that may matter before. I may not get another piercing weapon, so I have to keep that in mind, but the illusion here should be perfect. Especially since we already have some Glowing Bloom synergy. Ooh, not the best options here. I think Airbag's probably the pick, though. Airbag is basically like, you know, not the best scroll. Some people think it's better than I do. I think it's like, kind of solves your HP problems for the most part. Can have some negative downsides and can have some rare, very powerful synergy. But in general, I think it's like, just okay. Alright, we're a little low on HP. Just something to keep in mind, and our shield is regenerating a little slowly. So we just need to make sure that we get our shield all the way full so that Airbag is ready for the next room. If we wait, that could be really bad. Alright. Losing HP. We're already low on HP, so it's really not too big of a deal. We could re-roll or replace a normal. You know, I don't think that really makes a big difference either way. So I'm going to hold off on that and see if there's a better time to be doing that. I'm really trying to stay on this side of the room so that fewer enemies spawn because of moving forward triggers. That might be a useless move because it might just be based on what's dead that triggers new enemies. I have a feeling that that's the case because I just killed some enemies and then more enemies. Oh, wow, big miss there. This move speed that Tau gets is paying off really big right now. Nice. And Warlike Blade does take a while to stack up on this illusion, but once you get into the late game of the room, or once you've been in the room for a while and that's starting to stack up, it gets pretty crazy. This is okay, but not really what we're looking for. We're at 1 HP. Interesting. How did that... Oh, yeah, because of airbag. How silly. Okay, alright, well, is there anything up here? I think I have to go look just to make sure. No. If I only had Eye of Providence, right? Then I'd know for sure. And again, this illusion doesn't have, like, it only has one, like, pretty good inscription, which is this 50% one. I really wouldn't even need that. As long as I had an illusion, I think I would be doing just fine here. Now, we do have a tough room. I don't know if my build is going to be powerful enough to take that on at this point in the game. Sword Shadow level 2. This will make our eventual Sword Guard even better. And does even more hits with Glowing Bloom. Curse Mark is definitely worth consideration, though. We don't have any defensive abilities right now. Reducing enemy move speed is worth it. We are casting Glowing Bloom. And I think it has the most impact immediately. The biggest reason to take this, though, is if we get the Spearmen, this helps deal with the Spearmen a lot. So we are going to take Curse Mark here. Getting a slow on the Spearmen is the difference between being able to beat him or dying on him. Okay, let's see, what do we have here? I think we could at least try this. But I'm going to prioritize my life above most stuff here. Wow. Nice. Well, look, that just goes to show you that you definitely do not... Ooh, wow, interesting stuff. That you definitely do not need OP blessings to be effective. I mean, if there's... I don't know if we need more proof than that. Being able to take a good weapon without good inscriptions, without any OP ascensions, without any OP scroll drops, and be able to beat this is a good indication that it is beatable on a hero that is worse than average. Like the dog is worse than Tau with no OP blessings. That's for sure. But tiger, cat, and bird and turtle all way better than Tau is if you don't take their hero blessings. So that is great. I think we go for Deadly Counter here. Has the most synergy. Genesis is very good. And it's better when you're trying to do like some cheesy no reload synergy with ammo extractor. I'm going to go Deadly Counter though. I think it's just the most consistent. One of the interesting things about Tao is that she's so slow on bosses. It's like one of her biggest downsides. She's like so fast all the other times. And, you know, for that reason, it might be worth picking up a sword here. Alright. Let's do this one. Now, do we want anything here? No. None of this is particularly helpful. Take this just to make sure we have it. No. Nothing worth doing. Let's switch these. And we'll just get a little bit of extra damage here. Etching is likely not to help us. Like, we really just need to do like fair damage with the weapon that we have. So yeah, I think this should be fine. Ooh, I think he got me there. Stay careful. That's where you can easily die. Because if you get too aggressive right after you get hit the first time, that's where you pretty much, where at least for me, that's where I tend to die on this hero. Wow, Stone Skin is really good. Love to see that. This is like actually not a bad prism. I think it has terrible synergy with our character, but yeah, that's not actually that bad. Unfortunately, we cannot use it. Curse Mark 2, getting to be not worth it. Sword Shadow 2 does fit with our game plan in general. Swordsman 1 tends to be relatively weak. We're not really holding on to sword stacks right now, and we're gaining them very slowly. I'm going to go ahead and say that Sword Shadow 2 is probably the pick. We've already got Curse Mark 1, which I think is plenty for what we're looking to do. Especially because we're already out of the tombs, so you know, we don't really need the slow for the Spearman. Fake Death is a good choice here. If I'm trying to make it very far, I think Fake Death is probably the best pick as far as our actual completion of this run. Skill Freak is probably the best one for damage, and we're not picking Blossom Enthusiast because we're not allowed to pick hero-specific blessings. If there was 3 hero-specific blessings here, I might save Scum, just so that I can kind of show you the state of the game that I'd like to show you when you're not picking the stuff that is just incredibly overpowered. I tend to be more of an active player than a defensive player, so there's a part of me that really wants to go Skill Freak here, so I think I am going to go Skill Freak. I think the more consistent play is definitely Fake Death there. Definitely Fake Death, but it's not as fun, and I am trying to have some fun, aren't I? Gotta remember that it's very easy to die early on against enemies in rooms with Tao, because that's when your speed is so low. So what you saw me there is the worst thing you can do is wait until they start shooting you when you're backed up into a corner. Move forward, let them start shooting, and then move back once they start shooting. That's going to give you the best chance at surviving when they're backing you to a corner. The biggest mistake that I catch myself making and see some other people making is just scooting back and being afraid of it. Go up, take 2 hits, and then dash back. And then he's standing there shooting, his flamethrower instead of actually chasing you down. Inferior magazine only. Okay. What? This Star Devourer is incredibly powerful. I thought my dog was barking, but it's the neighbor's dog. I was like, oh gosh, my dog doesn't usually bark like that. This Glimmering is almost good, and if my buffs were implemented, I might pick this Glimmering, because we would have a 75% damage increase in elemental effect. The actual effect chance would be 15%. We wouldn't get the minus 50% damage on the initial hit for the Glimmering. So everything else on this looks amazing. I'd love to try this if it was a little bit more buffed, but it's not worth it right now. But if I had my changes in the game, then I would absolutely try this. It looks so fun. Okay, we got a Cursed Scroll. Great. Love that. Huh. This does have one of the best rares in the game, plus 50% elemental effect chance upon hitting an enemy. Resets on a miss. But not quite worth it. Just doesn't really fit with our game plan. This Dragon Chaser is not bad, actually. the double rate of fire increases are pretty fun. Can I try it? I mean, we gotta try it, right? It looks. I'm just here to have fun, guys. Okay, and to play the hardest difficulty with even harder settings. Okay, that's why I'm here. Okay, it's pretty fast. I think I do need to hit crits, though. Well. That's actually pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. Sure. Oh, interesting. So this just gives me permanent 2% lifesteal, which is, I would say, already. So that would be our third, basically, instant win condition. 2% lifesteal with no downside. The only downside is when I inflict burning, I inflict it on myself. But I get a permanent 2% lifesteal. We're going to take this. Although the main reason I want to take this is because it has synergy with Deadly Counter. It might be too OP. I don't want to just put together some absolutely broken thing. Which, look, we're just going to point this as number 3. Number 3, the third avoided thing that would be absurdly overpowered. I'm not going to take it. It's pretty good. Still haven't had a good Icy Spear run at all, ever. So I don't know if it is any good. Okay, I've got a bun right there, which I can use to go. Excellent. All right, give me the money. 400? Come on. All right. Alright, I don't know if this is doing enough damage. Scary! Gosh, Illusion's damage is just so good. Especially with glowing bloom stuff. I do think this is kind of fun as a long-range option, though. It's very safe. It doesn't do that much damage. I think I would need like a crit Gemini and maybe something else to get it really working. The inferior magazine is definitely not helping. But this might be Oh, it's this guy. Okay, well, I think as long as I clear out the little dudes, I should be in a good spot on this one. Ooh, he sniped me like that. Alright. He's so strong. Oh, where are you, you crazy man? Oh! Oh! Where is this corrosion guy? I cannot see him. There he is. Oh my gosh. Everything's terrible. Everything is absolutely terrible. Oh man. Alright. Oh jeez. Okay, so that's a classic example of biting off way too much than I could chew. The second that I died there, I should have gone back. And I made a big mistake of not killing the little guys first, which is the way I normally do it. I thought maybe I could put the mark on the big guy and then just run around with the dragon chaser, but I missed the mark first off, so it was getting like, it wasn't getting crit hits. And then I just totally, I let the corrosion guy slip past my nets. I didn't, and that was just like a bad way to play that room. And you know, frankly, I'll be honest, it's because I'm lazy at this point. You know, like when I used to play, when I wasn't as good and I played Nightmare and like didn't have like OP blessings at this point in the game, I didn't have, like if I had Ice Blade, like I could just insta kill that guy. If I had Blossom Enthusiast, I don't have to care about anything. Like I can just kill him. I really can. If I had Blossom Enthusiast, that guy would just be dead to illusion, like that quickly. So that was really fun. Hopefully this was helpful and illuminating. Hopefully you appreciated all of the actual decision making that we had to make and the thought process that went into playing the game, as opposed to just jumping on whatever railroad track OP blessing strategy that we would like to use. I really strongly suggest you give this a try. It is totally doable to beat R8 without taking a hero-specific blessing. You know, if I had played that better, I definitely could. If I had got slightly better RNG, or if I was willing to take, you know, that Burning Enthusiast, I mean, that would have been enough. You know, I would have had Burning Enthusiast. I would have been put on fire, or I would have 2% lifesteal. I almost certainly would have been able to just tank all of that damage. You know, and I didn't need an OP blessing to do that. So, like, I avoided things that specifically would have made me more powerful. So I even made it harder than just not taking an OP blessing. So I really do suggest you try it. It's fun, and this type of experience would be a little bit more of what the game would feel like, but not quite so much. This is actually maybe even a little worse, because this doesn't include the massive amount of buffs that I've also included in the document. So if this smile is not genuine enough for you, is not an indication enough of what the game could be like and how fun the hard difficulties could be, and that the hardest difficulty should be probably geared toward people who want a challenge, that should be, maybe you should consider the experience that I'm having right now. And I would make the case that it's not just me. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.